Welcome, true believers, to Bad Wolf Comics. I'm your host, the Bad Wolf, and today we have Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor's Complete Year One Omnibus. This is going to be a good one, folks. Let's check it out. Allons-y! Welcome back, true believers. I am the Bad Wolf, and this is Bad Wolf Comics. Today, we're going to do an overview of the Doctor Who 10th Doctor Complete Year One Omnibus. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Doctor is an alien. He's from the planet Gallifrey. He has two hearts. And instead of dying, if he ever gets hurt to the point of critically injured, he can regenerate into a completely new person. He has all of his memories of his previous incarnations, but he's a different person, or she. He can regenerate into a woman as well recently. He travels around time and space in his time machine called the TARDIS. That stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. It's basically a pocket universe stuffed inside this machine that allows it to be bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. I think most of you do know what Doctor Who is. Whether you're a fan or not, most people do have a general idea of what it is. It's even older than Star Trek, so it's been around a long time. Most people know what Doctor Who is. So that said, this is Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor's Complete Year One Omnibus. This is an oversized hardcover, so it is actually bigger than your standard size omnibus. And it's definitely bigger than the little hardcovers they made. These are standard size hardcovers. This book actually collects the first 3 or 4 of these hardcovers for the year one. They did 3 years, and they did one for the 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctor. This is the 10th Doctor. But enough explanation on the Doctor. Let's take a look at this book. This is our complete year one of Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor from Titan Comics. This book has 368 pages, and it's available at Amazon for about $49.99. Here's our cover. They really captured David Tennant's likeness very well in this. I was pretty impressed. Here's our spine. It's got a flat spine, it's not curved. And here's our back. This does have a sewn binding. And there's our eye. Very nice. The only problem I've found with this book is that the pages are super thick, like thicker than any pages I've ever seen in a comic. And it's many times felt like I was turning 2 pages rather than 1. Now many of you may be saying, well, that's great. You know, Marvel's been doing these thin pages and we can't stand it. But the problem is, this book is already experiencing page sag. I guess it's kind of hard to show here, but it is already displaying page sag. And when I have it up on the shelf, I try and keep it pressed with other books, but I don't want too much shelf wear, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, there is some page sag on this one already. The 11th Doctor's is much worse than this, but it does have some page sag. So other than that, though, the book is phenomenal. It's basically, if you're a Doctor Who fan, think of it as episodes that never made a TV cut, and they got their own little episodes here in the book. And the Doctor has a brand new companion named Gabriela Gonzalez, and they travel through space and time together. And this takes place after Donna Noble. So after he parted ways with Donna, he went ahead and traveled a long time by himself. But he did get a new companion, Gabriela Gonzalez, here. And I like her. She's spunky. She doesn't take crap from anybody, and let alone the Doctor, which I think is why he likes her, because he needs someone to keep him in check. Remind him of his, well, for lack of a better word, his humanity. But I thought this series was really well written. I love the art in here. Here we have these interdimensional beings that feed off negative energy, and the Doctor and Gabriella have to solve the problem before it destroys the world. Try not to get too many spoilers in here, because if you folks decide you want to read it, then I want you to be able to do that without having spoilers. Got a great cover page here. Loving the artwork. They really captured David Tennant's likeness really well. I really enjoyed it. And this here is basically, Gabriella has a little diary that she's writing throughout the adventures. And so this is her and drawing a little thing and drawing a little bit and explaining things in her diary as she's experiencing them. I really liked her as a companion. I've been a fan of Doctor Who since the 80s. I started watching in 1984, when I was a very young man. And I started watching with the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker. His stuff was actually filmed in the 70s, but I was watching reruns of Tom Baker in the 80s. And that's where I started. He was my first Doctor. And I loved Doctor Who ever since then. I was hooked. And when they brought it back, it was just, I was like a kid in a candy store, man. It brought me back to the 80s. I was a kid all over again. I couldn't believe they were actually bringing this show back. And so when they did, I was super excited. I was on board from day one. Christopher Eccleston did a great job portraying the Ninth Doctor. And then they moved on to David Tennant. And of course, you know, when you get a new Doctor, everyone's always like, this guy's too skinny, he's too young. There's always something wrong. But David Tennant had me by the end of the first episode, as well as Matt Smith. By the time they were done, they were born to play this role, and they did a really good job. And you'll see David Tennant come back in the 60th anniversary specials next year as the 14th Doctor. Don't ask me, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. That's all we know. But it's really a great series. Lots of ups and downs. Great shot there. And here they travel back into World War II. This is their fight with the Angels, also known as the Weeping Angels. The Weeping Angels are an alien race that if they touch you, they will send you back in time, and they will feed off the displaced time energy that you leave of your possibilities. You know, the possible choices that you made, the possible life you would have lived. All right, and here they displace these guys back into the past. Into a train that's about to, you know, go off the edge, and when it does, the angels feed off their time energy. Such a great series. If you guys haven't gotten into Doctor Who, a lot of people just think it's for kids because the BBC, it is a little cheesy on the effects. It always has been. And I'm not going to lie, they got plot holes in their story all the time. I could sit here all day and talk about all the different plot holes in different episodes and why things don't make sense. But if you can overlook all that stuff, it's a great story of a time traveler with his companion roaming around the universe, saving people, saving planets, saving civilizations. And the Weeping Angels is just one of their many, many classic and amazing villains. I'm so excited about these books. I really wish they had continued with these oversized format of the Doctors and got the years 2 and 3. Here we go. Oh, the Angels have the TARDIS. Here's more of Gabriella's diary. But if you are at all a fan of the Doctor Who franchise and you enjoy this kind of thing, I cannot recommend these books any higher. They are some of the best comics, my favorite comics around. And yes, in case anyone's wondering, I did get inspiration from Doctor Who for our name, Badwolf Comics. Badwolf, for any fan of Doctor Who, will know what Badwolf is. For those that don't, well, you should probably watch the first season of Doctor Who, and by the end of it, you'll know what Badwolf is. So for me, Badwolf Comics just seemed like the right choice for the name. I did have a lot of back and forth when considering the name for our channel. Day from OmniNation Comics really helped me nail it down, and as soon as I said Badwolf Comics, he said, that's it. You've got to do Badwolf Comics. So we did. So thank you, Day for that. Shout out. Can't wait to get you back in the community. We miss you. We move on to our last adventure with Gabriela Gonzalez. But this is a great story about Anubis. Back in ancient Egypt, there were aliens that came down, were much like gods, and it had very much of a Stargate vibe to it for me in this story here. I kept thinking, man, this is just like Stargate. I kept waiting for the gate to come up and you know, Jack to come out with some smart-ass remark. But once again, the Doctor, along with the help of his companions, saves the world one more time. And these adventures continue for seasons 2 and 3. Like I said, sadly, they won't be making a series 2 or 3 omnibus like this and oversized. I reached out to Titan. They said the books just didn't sell enough. And as of yet, there are no plans to make any further year 2 or 3. But I'll take what I can get, you know. And this book was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the read. I couldn't put it down when I started it. It's a great story. It's a great romp through time and space. And I highly recommend it to any sci-fi fan, but especially to Doctor Who fans. If you are a fan of Doctor Who, you're going to love this series of books. Now, they do have a couple books they have one of the smaller books for the 8th Doctor, the 4th Doctor. I think they even have the 3rd Doctor. The 9th Doctor got a little series of his own. He didn't get an oversized hardcover, sadly. but that was reserved for 10, 11, and 12. And here we have our cover gallery. So our covers and our variants. These are the single issues that went into the book. Some of them were great, some not so great. I'm not really digging the art on that. Didn't even get David Tennant's likeness down, really. But here we have our reader's guide, our 12th, 11th, 10th, and 9th Doctor. Now, like I said, the 9th Doctor got these smaller versions where it's just the smaller books. So for this book, collects volume 1, 2, and 3 of these smaller hardcovers that collect about 4 to 5 issues apiece. And as you can see, year 2 begins with this book here. So this is my year 2 starting, and sadly I won't get a full omnibus for that. We'll just have to continue the story like this. But not to worry, it's all the same great art, same great stories. They've even got some multi-Doctor stories, which are my favorite Doctor Who stories. I love the multi-Doctor episodes. Here's our 8th Doctor in his single book, and the 4th Doctor and the 3rd Doctor. I don't have this one yet, so I've got these, but I need to grab that one. So something to look at for the future. And here's our complete year 1s. Here's 11, which we'll do next time. Next time I do a Doctor Who book, it will be this book, and then I'll probably move on to that one. But that, my friends, is that. Let's get our final shot. And that was our overview for the Doctor Who 10th Doctor's Complete Year 1 Omnibus. Sadly, they won't be doing a year 2. I did reach out to Titan Comics. These just didn't sell well enough, and so they will not be doing year 2 or 3. You can get them in these smaller hardcovers, though, so I do have the rest of the collection in these smaller hardcovers. I've even considered doing a custom bind, but as expensive as those get, I already have these stories in a hardcover format. Not quite the one I want for all of them, but I don't know if I'm going to spend the money to turn my entire collection into this. I might actually just take all the books that I already own, get the covers off of them, and just actually do an actual bind. But the problem with that would be, it would just be a standard size bind. So with that in mind, I do believe I'll probably just stick with what I've got. But stick around, true believers. Next week, Bad Wolf Comics goes to the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, where we see the history of Marvel Comics exhibit. If you're a Marvel fan, you're not going to want to miss this. Until next week, folks, I am the Bad Wolf. This is Bad Wolf Comics. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.